Hi, this is Sheila Stromberg, Notorious SHE. I am doing a tutorial really quickly on my new pattern, and they're called Banshee Gauntlets, and they're so fun. So this is the first one that I made. So there's one technique that's a little tricky on the pattern, and it's to create this little edge flap here that goes along like the back of the work. Vertically. So I'll show you really quick how we do that. So here's the second one that I'm working. So I've already done the cuff as written in the pattern. I worked 4 inches in this fur yarn, and the yarn that I'm using is this yarn. It's Ericanite fur wool, and the colorway I'm using is flax. And then the second yarn that I'm using is a DK weight wool, and it's called Silky Wool by Elizabeth Lavold, and then the colorway is dark oak. So that's what we're working with today. Okay, so I have worked the pattern through the fur cuff, through the first section of the main cuff. So I just worked in the ribbing until it's 4.5 inches from the cast on. So now we're ready to work row 3. So this is a setup row. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit 1, purl 1, and we're going to repeat 8 more times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so once we get there, we should have 18 stitches that we just worked. So now I'm gonna just place a marker, and this is gonna mark where we're gonna do this special stitch. Okay, so this stitch, I'm calling it knit front, slip, knit back. So it's a little tricky, so I just want to show you guys. So you're gonna do exactly like it says. You're gonna knit the front of the stitch. Now what we're gonna do is take a spare circular needle. So I have this needle here, and I would like a really long cable on it. This is a 40-inch cable, and this is just one size smaller than the main needles I use to get my gauge. So I'm working on a size 3 main needle, and these are, I think, like a 1.5 or maybe a 2. So it just needs to be smaller, just nothing bigger. It doesn't matter how much smaller, or it could be the same size if you happen to have 2 of the same size. Okay, so we just knit the front of that loop. As you can see, let me see if you can see this a little bit better. So I just knit the front. Now what we're going to do is take this spare needle, and we're going to put the stitch we just made onto the spare needle, and I just pull it through onto the cable. Now you're going to take your right hand needle out. So now you can see that stitch is just totally on our cable now. So we want to make sure that our stitch count stays the same. So we're going to knit the back of the same stitch. So when you knit the first time, do not take your needle out of this stitch, because we're going to go back into the back of the needle. I hope you guys can see that. We'll just go into the back, knit, and then once you have that stitch back onto your right hand needle, then you slip off. So that's the special stitch, knit front, slip, knit back. Okay, so you can see we have that on one side of the circular needle. Now what we're going to do is we're going to purl 1, knit 1, and so now we're going to repeat it 10 times more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Let me slip. I'm doing magic loop for this pattern, but you can knit it on double pointed needles if you prefer. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now what we're going to do is purl 1 more. And now we're going to do the special stitch again. So we're going to knit the front, leave the stitch on your left hand needle. Now we're going to take the second circular needle that we have, the smaller one. So I'm using needles that are different colors. It's going to be easier to tell which one we're working with. So we have the first stitch that's held on this side of the needle. I'm just going to get the other side of the needle so they're like separated. And I'm going to put the new stitch just onto the other side of the second needle, like that. Okay, and we're going to take your right hand needle out of it. So now the stitch is totally just on the cable, the new stitch. So we're going to now knit the back of that stitch to make the stitch count stay the same. So now you can see that. So yeah, so you're essentially making one extra stitch that just goes on the spare needle, and then we're just going to purl knit to the end of the row. And I'll show you guys in just a second how we want it to look. Okay, so let me slide that off. Okay, so you can see on here, this is the working section that we have, the working needle, and then you're going to have, oh, whoops, I forgot to put a marker. Well, you want to put a marker right after the special stitch. Sorry, I missed that, but you're going to want to put a marker there so you don't have to count how many stitches you're doing every time. You can just work till one before the marker and then do the special stitch there. So then you can see on the spare needle, so the spare needle will just kind of hang out down there like that. And as you get further down, you know, you'll want to snug it up a little bit as you start to run out of room on the needle. So we'll have one stitch on this side and then one stitch on this side. And so that's going to be our vertical stitches. So this is going to save you from seaming and having to pick up stitches later. They're all already right there for you. So that way this is totally seamless. And I hate seaming, so if I can avoid it in a pattern, I'm going to. So you can see on the first one where we started the picked up stitches right over here, and then it continues through the work. And this is going to make this little eyelet band that you can run lacing through. So yeah, so that's basically how you do that stitch, and I will show another tutorial on how to do the decrease when you get down here where we want the greaves to like decrease. You can see here, and so we're going to do a special stitch for that too, and I will make a separate video for that. Okay, thanks for watching.